So hi, my name is Ron Chan. I'm the Executive Director and founder of the Bay Area Chinese Genealogy Group, and welcome all. This is the surname symposium where we're going to be using the Chan surname as a proof of concept. And it turns out that this would actually have been the fourth special interest group for just Chans, but wiser heads prevailed and asked me to expand this so that way we could use Chan as a proof of concept and a little bit of a template, because not all surnames will fit, in this nice little mold. But the idea is that way at least it will give you the inspiration and the insight of how one surname is done for another. And it turns out that thank you for filling out your registration forms, because we found that a third of you in the audience, are Chans and have Chan lineage. And Chan ended up being, I think, the more than the combined next three surnames. So, for those who are Chans, this will be very special. For those of you who are not Chans, that you should be able to use this as, a proof of concept to see what you can learn. So let me show you my own genealogical path. So it first started with my grandfather, and I was looking to find out, where did we come from? So what I did is that I went to the village, and I went to go and find my Japu. This is the actual Japu cover from what I found in the village. And what I found is that it went back 27 generations. And with 27 generations, it actually mentioned Shan Ying. Shan Ying is the third son of the progenitor of all of Guangdong. And just a quick side note is that when I went to Henry Tom's seminars in China, we went to visit a temple which was Chanmo. And I didn't know any better that I didn't know that there were actually 7 brothers. So I thought that Chanmo was my progenitor. And then somebody very wise, Patrick Chu, said, that's impossible. And he said, how is that? And I said, well, I come from Zhongshan. And he said, Mo did not reside in Zhongshan. So that's clue number 1. The area that you come from will have a progenitor of that area. And then you have the progenitor of all of Guangdong, of the 7 sons. And from here, for well over 1,000 years, Chen Feng Tai his lineage has been gone back thousands of years. So I could say that I truly have over 1,500 generations that I've been able to find. So here's the agenda and format we're going to use. I'm going to talk a little bit about Chinese research resources. And where this comes from is that when you guys registered, there half of you, filled out questions. So rather than address them individually, I'm going to address them on a global basis. And then we're going to have a presentation from Hugh Wei from My China Roots, who's going to show you how to use My China Roots databases. Then there's going to be the Chan Clan Chronicles, where Ken Chan is going to actually bring his ancestors to life. Then we're going to have a brown bag, where we're going to break for half an hour. And then there's going to be George Chin, who's going to be doing Exploring Chinese American Heritage and Impact. Then we're going to have a drawing. Housekeeping. So for those of you in the room, the Family Search Center is our home. Please keep it clean, because I'm not your mother and I'm not going to be cleaning up. So at the end, if you could make sure that your chairs are straightened, the room is cleaned, and if there's a volunteer that can help us vacuum, all the better. For you online participants, I'd like for you to turn off your video, mute your audio, as well as your phones on all your devices, and use chat to ask questions. And at the end of the presentation, there's going to be a link for the survey, so that way we're going to be the drawing off of that. So in the registrations, you asked a lot of questions. So I'm going to take this as basically a rifle shot. I'm going to give you 45 references in rapid succession. So I'm glad you had your coffee this morning because you're going to need it. Stay awake.
Do you understand the words that are coming out of my mouth?
To help you focus on the words coming out of my mouth, rather than fiercely taking notes, get your cell phones ready. So that way you could take a picture of the slides that you think that are most relevant. So research resources. So the question is that how do I turn my passion for genealogy into a vacation? Well, Henry Tom has been doing this for well over 10 years, and he's going to be doing a 3-day workshop in Las Vegas from January 26th to January 30th, 2025. There's going to be 2 days of lecture, which is going to be including DNA, scanning, storytelling, taking your JAPU and making it an OCR, optical character recognition. There's going to be translations where there's going to be subject matter experts that can read, write, and speak Chinese and help you also find your village. It's for 3 days, it's $375 to register, and it's 4 nights in a hotel for $354. You know, I consider that a great way to spend 3 days. And plus you're in Vegas. So the another question I got was, how do I digitize and document my family history? I've been commissioned by 40 libraries in the Bay Area to provide 3 lectures. One is digitizing and documenting a family history series. And basically what that does is it takes you from beginning to end in your documentation voyage. You first do scanning, and then I show you how to do photo restoration, and then I show you how to do movie making, and then I show you how to do storytelling. I show you how to do some chat GBT using artificial intelligence, and then ultimately put together a video. The writing family history with AI, what we do is that I actually take down and you bring your own laptop, and then what we'll do is that we'll actually teach you how to use ChatGPT to write your own family history. It's amazing. In 2 seconds, you get a 600-word story. And then there's scanning and photo restoration workshops that I'm doing in the Hayward Library. And best of all, it's free. So who offers free genealogy classes? Rudy, who is sitting right there. And thank you for your help and assistance for the Family History Center. But this is an example of his December schedule. And you could see that there's researching, there's publishing your story, there's ancestry, and he also does a 7-step course in that same process of digitizing to actively showing your history to your family. But one thing I wanted to bring up is that on December 7th, there's actually a special interest group for Chinese. And with that, there is going to be a moderator that reads, speaks, and writes Chinese, which is pretty good considering he's not even Chinese. You could see at the very bottom that URL, and you could get all the seminars, you know, for the following months. So what happens when you have a document and it's all in Chinese? You know, you have no idea whether this is a shopping list or is this a family heirloom. So how do you fix that? Because this is actually one of the most common questions that people have, and that is they have Chinese documents that they have no idea what it's about. Well, what happens is that the Family Search Center offers a free 20-minute virtual consultation every week. So you could bug them for the rest of your life for 20 minutes once a week. You know, they're not going to be, you know, translating a 500-page JAPU for you, but at least you could take a quick look to see whether do you have your generational poem there? Or maybe where can I find my grandparents, in the Japu? Or if you have a coaching book, maybe what a page or two looks like. But then, in order to prepare for that 20-minute discussion, you fill out what they call a booking form. And that's something that you could prep your research specialist. So that's where you would get, your ancestors' details like birth date, town of birth, etc. And then if you have any documents that you want them to look at, you send it in advance because 20 minutes goes by really quick. So make sure that you prep well. And then you reserve a research expert by region or specialty topic. So if you're Chinese, you'll get somebody who is fluent in Chinese. If you're Greek, if you're Russian, or if you're Asian European, you'll get this right person for you. And the nice thing is that not only do they have regional experts, but they have DNA specialists as well. So if you have DNA questions, or else if you have a question like, where's my village? There's specialties that will help you find your ancestral hometown. So where can I document and digitize my photos for free? You can see just right outside this room that there are a whole suite of digitization resources that you could use for free. They have 6 flatbed scanners and 1 auto feed scanner. And if you ever had a box full of photos and tried to scan them one at a time on a flatbed scanner, well, that's a really long life. You're going to just be there forever. What they have is you could take 60 pictures, you put it in just like a copy machine, you press start, and it'll copy 1 picture per second. It's absolutely amazing. And they also have an oversized scanner. So if you have like a big chart or you have a big map, that you could also put that on and get 1 contiguous scan as opposed to having to break it up into smaller pieces. They also have a device out there that you have VHS. So the thing with VHS, of course, is that you press go, and if it's a 6-hour tape, it's going to take 6 hours to scan and turn it into a digital format. They have film. So if you have 35 millimeter, or if you have slides, they also have slide copiers. Yeah. And even audio cassettes. One thing that you don't forget is you need to bring a flash drive so you can copy everything down. Now, I came down one time, I was so excited that I got like 300 scans, and I went onto their online resources, to which they have about a dozen, free online searches, like with Ancestry and Family Search, Fold3, etc. I was so excited to do all that. I rushed home only to find out that I left my flash drive in the freaking PC. So you not only have to remember to bring a flash drive, you have to remember to bring it home too. So research resources. Where can I ask questions online? There's 2 blogs that are really good. One is the Chinese American Family History, and the other one is Chinese Genealogy. So that way you could ask questions in real time and people will respond. Any online databases specializing on Chinese genealogy. You're going to be hearing from Hugh Wei on My China Roots, and it's a great Chinese genealogy website. It's kind of like the Chinese version of Ancestry, and it's free in many libraries. So you call your local library, ask if it's available, or if it's not available there, come here because it's free of charge. How do I translate Chinese to English? I use Google Translation, and you could actually have text, which you just copy and paste, into the query, and it'll translate it from Chinese to English. Another thing is John Yu, a friend of mine, sent me a document. It had well over 120 characters in it, and I was actually able to upload the document and have them translate it in Chinese. Now, is it 100% correct? No, but it probably gives you a really good idea of directionally what's in it. And then, the nice thing is that if you take and do this digital translation, send that also to that 20-minute free virtual conversation. So that way you can have a running start of what's already there, and maybe they could help fill in the blanks. Are there any other questions or organizations like BACGG for Chinese genealogy? And we have a great resource in Southern California, the Chinese Family History Group. And I'll be showing you one of the resources they have. And they have regular meetings as well as a great website. And then I was going to have Patrick Chu, provide a quick update on, what's happening with that. But unfortunately, he has to do something important like work. So BACGG website resources. Here is the link that has over 100 resources for you. So nice thing is that it has resources where if you don't know how to read or speak Chinese, Tony King actually did 2 fabulous documents on help for reading Chinese genealogies and research method for overseas Chinese. And then there's a video there for Henry Tom that teaches you how to do your Jiapu, which could be hundreds of pages long, but you're only trying to find one character, and that's your grandfather. Well, if you OCR it, optical character recognition, you could actually search all 500 pages and find that one character. And I'll show you how to do that. Reading Chinese headstones. You'd be absolutely amazed how much information you could find on a headstone, because traditionally you'll see a picture and then they'll say the birth and death date, and they'll many times even have the village that they came from. So it's an amazing resource. How to effectively research the National Archives. The National Archives, you're truly blessed here in the Bay Area because there's a National Archives right here in San Bruno. And if your grandparents came in through Angel Island, then you'll be able to actually get all the paperwork that when they came in, including, for example, the questions they asked. And, I remember my father telling me one story about, 2 paper sons, that came to Angel Island, and, they were interviewed individually. So the interrogation officer asked, "Did you have a pet?" And one son said no, and the other son said yes. So then I got him, brought them both in and said, "You're going to be deported because you answered the questions inconsistently." But you know what one of the sons said? "Well, we did have a pet, but we ate him." And those are the type of stories that you're probably going to get, as well as photographs. And I actually have actual signatures of my grandparents. So make sure you bring your cell phone, and then they have copy stands and you can make copies. So Marissa Louis Lee, she was actually a docent there and worked at the National Archives. So she wrote a fabulous piece. And then the Guide to Records of Asian Americans of National Archives, there's a big book about 25 pages, and that's also on our website. Chinese Genealogy 101. My China Roots has a 5-step process in searching for clues and finding your village, and that's also on the website. Richard Lee is a great resource out of the San Francisco Public Library. He runs not only genealogy seminars, but he also has 3 presentations on presentations that he does, because he's actually the resident genealogist there, and he actually runs genealogy classes out of the North Beach Library right in Chinatown. So Chinese genealogy resources are just a click away. BACGG.org, look under resources. And then there's going to be a door prize drawing at the end of the session. So I'm going to be doing 2 winners, one for Zoom and one that's for live. And it's an amazing disc. I mean, it's the greatest thing since chicken chow mein. You know, if you want to find out one resource for genealogy questions, that's it. And you can see just a quick laundry list of just the first, you know, 15 pages. Everything from a Chinese American timeline, so that way you could write your family history and put it into context, to research resources, which they list 22 of them, how to do oral histories, you know, of your Chinese grandparents. And then, you know, they also have all sorts of digitization tips, and they'll explain to you what is a Japu, what is a Zupu, and what are the difference, and why it's important for you to find it in your own family history. And then if you're looking to purchase one, if you don't win it, right on the bottom, you have this URL, and you could purchase it for $30. So are there any quick questions? Good. That means I answered all your questions.